Hey there everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. I love working with embossing folders, and today I have a really fun project for you using new products from Simon Says Stamps Out of This World release. There are some amazing new embossing folders in this release, and I'm going to be using one of them to create this beautiful scene of lilacs, which lilacs are one of my favorite flowers, so when I saw this folder, I had to use it. So when you get your embossing folder, you can see it has those beautiful lilacs in this design. We're going to use some white cardstock to go ahead and emboss this into our paper. I always like misting my paper with a bit of water before I put this into my folder. This helps keep the paper from cracking as much. And for the paper I'm using to emboss with, this is Simon Says Stamp 120 pound white cardstock. I'm also going to be using Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively saturated inks. I picked out a few different purples and I love mixing them together to create a varying tone of purple across these florals. So I'm starting with a Simon Says Stamp small blending brush, and I started with some purple colors that I'm adding over top of the florals, and that's coloring both the raised areas and the non-raised areas of the embossed design. When I want to add a little bit more punch to the flowers that are embossed, that's when I switched over to a detail blending brush. This is a round detail blending brush from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to use additional purple colors to add different colors of purple across the florals. And by using a very light touch, I'm only adding ink to those raised areas. We're not adding any ink to the non-raised sections of the florals. So that's going to maintain the lighter colors that we added first, and this is going to add even darker color on top of the flowers. So we get a lot of really beautiful dimension. I did the same thing with the leaves. I started with small blending brushes and then brought in detail brushes to feather in more color and add some shading. For the feathering on the leaves, I actually used the flat brushes, which allow me to basically brush the ink on. Instead of using the typical blending technique, I'm actually brushing it on almost like I'm painting in a sense. It's a really handy brush to add some nice shading without adding too much all at once. And you don't have to actually work as hard to blend the colors because it's adding it in such a soft feathery motion, it blends super easy. I added some color to the background, starting with a little bit of yellow along the top, and then on the sides, I added some sea foam. This is a nice soft blue, and I thought that would look really pretty with the florals. And it blends really nice with the yellow to create a beautiful, almost like a sunny sky over top of the flowers. For a bit of sparkle, I brought in some shimmer mist from Brutus Monroe, and I'm going to tap some splatters of this across my lilac clusters, which when this catches the light, it's going to make the lilacs look like they're sparkling and almost have like dew on them. It's very pretty. I have this thanks frame from Simon Says Stamp. This is not new, but it's a really nice all-purpose die, and I die cut it from both glitter cardstock and matte silver cardstock initially because I wasn't sure which I wanted to use for the greeting. In the end, I chose the matte silver, and I'm going to inlay the letters with some white. So I've placed this onto some white cardstock just to give me a place that I can then inlay the letters, and that's going to provide a background for all of that. I'm just using my scissors to trim this down. Those letters are cut from the same white cardstock, but those letters are not necessary for this greeting. You could just leave it with the silver outline, but I really love the look of an inlaid greeting. So I like taking the little extra step of adding these letters back into place to create a beautiful finish. So I did decide I liked that purple sparkle paper with my project, but instead of using it as the greeting, I'm actually going to use it as just an accent strip of cardstock. So I'm going to use a glue stick to adhere this down along the bottom of my card, and that's where I'm going to layer my sentiment. My sentiment's going to layer on top of that purple cardstock, and that adds just a nice hint of sparkle, which goes really well with the shimmer mist. And then the color, of course, matches the colors in our lilacs beautifully. I finished things off by adding a few sequins. These are two different mixes. One is the Lilac Sparkle mix from Simon, and then the other one is Yellow Sunsets. It's a new sequin mix from Simon, and it has some beautiful yellows and almost orangey colors in it. It's so pretty. And that finishes up my card. I love the combination of the purple lilacs with the sparkly background and the beautiful, elegant greeting that finishes off the bottom of the card, puts this entire piece as a showstopper. Be sure to check out all the other embossing folders that are part of this Out of This World release, because you could do the same technique that I shared here with any of the other new embossing folders. It's a lot of fun to take your inks and color these beautiful scenes, which creates a stunning focal point for your card. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to come back and share more with you all. But until I see you again, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.